Welcome to DC.
And here it comes. Swing and a miss. And a World Series Game 7 winning Curly W is in the books.
Dagger! It's 1974. The Washington Capitals are the 2018 Stanley Cup champions.
Don't like that. I like that.
You gotta like that, right?
Despite all this, despite the churn, my approval ratings keep going up.
We are ready to give our 500% support back to this franchise, back to this city, back to this team after Snyder leaves. And then this is the poo-poo you put on the field.
For the very first time, the Washington Mystics are WNBA champions.
The Washington Commanders select Jaden Daniels.
I'm going to support fake teams that can't ruin my life.
Did you call bank? I call game.
Thank you. Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business.
It is feeding the curse. The off-season continues. We've got an interesting one on deck. My name is Joe. I'm joined by Andy today. This should be an interesting one, Andy. I don't think we've ever done a two-man show, just the two of us. We're running a three-man weave with two here, so this will be interesting. FP, let me just say let me lay out what happened this week, because I
got dozed from the show.
You take that up with him, but I'm gonna do a lot of muting, like power muting here, because I don't want to be coughing or, there's just some stuff happening here. But I got to be honest, this is my fault, because, we shifted things last week. Things came up, whatever, no problem. But we said Monday's our night. I got to Monday afternoon this week, Andy, and I was like, boys, I don't know what day it is. I don't know what time it is. Wife came home. She's like, you look not good. I was like, no, I got a pod. And she's like, no, you got the flu or COVID or both or some swine flu or something. You need to take a shower. You need to sit up in bed. Like I was dazed and confused, man. Like it was bad for your boy. Bad. And around what, 7:45, like I grabbed my phone and I was ready to pull an MJ, right? The 45. This is my flu game. I can do it. And I swear, I put on my house Crocs, and I got about halfway to the door of the bedroom, and I was like, no way, I can't do it, Andy. I can't do it. No. And I could tell FP was disappointed, because he just stopped responding after a while. Like I knew he was upset, but he buried the lead that he wasn't available the rest of the week and didn't give any insight as to why at all. He didn't even say feel better. He's just silent. He's the equivalent of like a ... situation. Mm-hmm. And that was it. And then today, I put out an SOS in the group chat, and I said, hey, I can do it. Like, I can do it. And he's like, yeah, I'm out till June, basically. He's like, I'm out. I got stuff to do. I was like, okay, like I'm not gonna push it, but I don't know. It feels a little weird. I gotta be honest, it feels a little weird without him here, but I'm happy you're here. And I am sorry about the Monday mishap. I just couldn't do it, man. I couldn't do it.
Takes a lot to knock you down. So I know it was bad. How many shows have you done with FP?
That's a great question. So there's an unofficial count and an official count. Our unofficial count is about 25 higher than what's actually published in all. Like if you go subscribe to us anywhere, there's 330 to 340 episodes. It's a good point. I got to be better about kind of tagging these episodes so we can find stuff in the future. But out of 340, I think there are a few FPLP specials. They go super deep into like Commanders roster. They geek out on some like pretty interesting stuff. I'm not on those shows. Those are like hardcore shows. So, but to answer your question, there's probably only been, I don't know, 15 to 20 that FP hasn't been on, right? So like this is going to be odd. Like for the regulars, no FP chiming in, no I'm a little scared. I'm going to get away with everything today. I mean, I love you, but I'm going to steamroll you with commentary today.
Like big shoes to fill without FP here for sure.
Yeah.
We'll miss him, but
and I got to be honest, like we're going to do OMC. We're not going to get, we're not going to get FP's rating here on 1994's True Lies, which I was excited to hear about. So we got some work to do to get kind of back in our groove here. We'll get caught up, but is there any specific place you want to start? Because right before we hit go, Matt the Met dropped a nugget in the group chat that I feel like we got to start there. Like it's just like the heavens open is like, here's your first topic. Are you okay to start with that?
Let's do it. I'm not even going to give any spoilers. You say it, and then just.
If we were to poll hockey fans, and there were only two options, pick Gretzky or Ovechkin right now as the greatest player. I'm not going to say what Matt said. I want to know what you would say. What would you say?
I mean, there is very little to argue against the most goals scored all time. Right now, technically, Gretzky holds it by what, 2? 3 for Ovi to.
So when we hit go, I think when I set this up, he was at 891. The Caps did lose tonight, so he's at 892. So he needs 3.
Yeah. So if we're talking about today, at this very moment that you and I are podcasting,
yes,
Gretzky is still the greatest because he still holds the record.
So for you, it's all tied to the record.
Yeah, and I don't want to get into the whole, because this debate happens during NBA. Jordan, Kobe, LeBron debates. Everybody says different era, this and that. The rules were different, this and this. There is some relevance to that argument in hockey, but the game is harder today. The game is faster today. The game is
the players are better today.
Right.
I don't mean to cut you off. It's the Jordan argument. Right? Larry Bird can't be the best. Do you know why? Because he didn't play in this era. I'm sorry. Every era of the league is better than the era before it, because the players in the current era grew up idolizing and mastering the moves of the era before them. So respectfully, Bird can't be the best ever. Jordan can't be the best ever. Jordan, and I put this in the chat, Jordan was beating up on Nick Anderson and Sam Cassell. Like 60 out of 82 games a season. Like it's not, and John Starks. And just think about all of the stud shooting guards. We don't even have positions anymore. Look how different the NBA is, right? And believe me, I could do a whole hour about how the 96 Bulls couldn't win. Like they cannot win 72 games in the modern NBA because 3 of the 5 players they would field can't shoot for more than 8 feet away from the basket. So where are they going to get their point? Like you can't compare these things. But to bring it back to Ovi, he's playing in a more competitive league against better talent on a consistent basis. The goalkeepers, I feel like, Andy, are 3 times the size that they used to be between the pads and the mask and the thing. I think the actual goal is the same size. I don't know. We have to bring in an expert for that. But how can you look at it in totality and say he's not the better player? You can argue Jordan meant more to the league than LeBron or Kobe. You could argue that Gretzky meant more to the league than Ovi. But you can't take away what Ovi has done over a 20-year career for one team. And it's really all culminating here in the final couple of weeks. He's going to get the record. And that's it. That's the end of the debate. You want to talk about maybe Gretzky did this thing better than Ovi here or there. Fine, no problem. Right? Jordan couldn't shoot threes. He could not shoot threes consistently. That's okay.
Yeah. No, it
doesn't factor in.
I think we're saying the same thing, just different words, different leagues. Gretzky has, and this argument again, it's very similar to the NBA argument, right? Gretzky's got 4 Stanley Cups. Ovechkin has just 1, right? So there's going to be people who always harp on that one factor weighing more and being more of a weighted decision as to why they think, Gretzky's better or Ovi's better, right? But all the factors combined, I still think Ovi has to get the goal record, he will. But if we're talking about right now, the goal record is big, man. Like Gretzky
Yeah, for
technically is
sure.
still the greatest of all time right now. Just he's
Sure.
got the goal record. I mean, once Ovi gets it, I mean, if we have this conversation in a week and a half, 2 weeks, hands down, Ovi's the best, no matter what.
3 goals. He can do it. He's done. He's had a hat trick this season, right?
He'll do it.
By the time we reconvene, like we're not. This isn't a stretch here to say he could have it by next week.
They're saying the Islanders game, April 6th. That's kind of the target. That's, I mean, what are tickets now? Actually, let me look it up real quick. I think FP looked it up last week and said tickets were going for like $400 or something.
Yeah, I think
That's
people
insane.
want to be. Yeah, we were talking about this, right? Like, does it make sense to be around the arena, just to be there to celebrate? I mean, it's not as big as a cup, but yeah, I mean, it's going to happen. What are tickets looking at? What are you looking at right now? StubHub?
Yeah, I'm on StubHub. Honestly, I think the DC. I think people will be. It's not going to be like Stanley Cup year where people were just like in the streets, but I do think there's going to be at Capital One Arena. They're going to obviously air the game outside on the big screen. People will flock. There's going to be those diehard fans that go there just to watch and freak out a little bit.
Sure,
but it's not going to be a big crowd.
Well, I mean, it's an amazing accomplishment, and to your point, I mean, we're not that. I mean, he's 20 years in. You go back 10, we were having debates about, Crosby or Ovechkin, right? If you had to pick one and build your team and whatever, all that's gone. Like he is the best. He's the best of his class. He's the best of the current era. And I mean, listen, I'm not a LeBron guy, but I have to give him credit. I mean, he's not mailing it in. I hate to take a shot at Vince Carter here. Vince at 40 was, a shell of himself, right? He was playing a couple minutes at the end of the Hawks bench or end of the Grizzlies bench. LeBron's 40 and still playing meaningful minutes and getting, real stats. Like Ovi is too. Like, I mean, Ovi could play another season.
I mean, he's got 39 goals this year. That's up there.
Right. So he's going to set the record. How high is he going to set it is the new question, right? If he plays a full season and adds 20 more, is anyone ever touching that record?
No, that record is
who's exactly
like you seal that record up.
Is anyone ever going to touch the consecutive games played record that Cal Ripken set of 2,000 whatever games?
I can't find tickets anywhere. By the way, I think the Islanders they're done. I can't even see how much they are.
I mean, speaking of tickets, I mean the Wizards are basically the second.
You saw that?
I mean, what were tickets for tonight?
For the Kings
hosting the Sacktown. What did you find tickets for?
$7.
I mean, for $7, you could go tonight and just live there, and it would be cheaper.
That is cheaper than a McDonald's meal.
I mean, $7.
$7. What can you get for $7? I mean, that's not including fees and all that, but still.
I mean, you can't get
$7 advertised.
You can't get a Big Mac meal. You can't. I mean, that's literally Diet Coke and some fries. You're right. Like, what can you buy for $7?
What can you buy for $7 today? Like
2 gallons of gas. Like, I don't know. That's something, man. Yeah. So I don't want to call Matt out and say like what side he was. People can figure it out. They're pretty smart, but I thought it was a terrible take. I think everybody.
What was his big argument? Like his biggest argument was you play that many games, you're bound to break records, right? Like the reason it doesn't make any sense. Gretzky's played today 10 more games than Ovi.
LeBron. I'll use basketball analogy again. LeBron has played 20 years and owns the scoring title. Vince played 20 years and he's not in the top 10. So longevity, it matters, and not having injuries matters, and sure, all those things. But okay, like you got to still be good. You still got to find the your spots and take your shots. So you got. I mean, your team has to win, right? If Ovi did this and the team was a perennial loser, it would be a different FP reminds me of this all the time. Like they went from nothing to something expected for 20 years. Something's been expected, right? We could talk about them falling flat. We can talk about disappointment. No problem. All that is fair game. But you can't take away this record from him. He's absolutely earned it, right? This is an individual goal that should be celebrated.
And you brought up a good point, right? Like you can have, I'm going to say Sam Cassell because that's the name that's coming to mind because you said his name. Sam Cassell played as many seasons as LeBron You're nowhere near the record. You won't even crack top 50, top 100.
No.
You know what I mean? So it's definitely doesn't matter so much as how long you play. It matters, but it doesn't matter so much how long you play.
Grant Hill, listen, I could talk old school NBA all the time. Grant Hill had played basically 10 meaningful seasons, 14 total, but 10 meaningful seasons. He belongs in the top 100. Sorry. You drop him on any team from the 80s, he's going to average 40 points. Any team. You drop him in the current NBA, he would steamroll people. I mean, he was cooking people when you could play defense. Now
you think you put Grant Hill in the NBA today, he'll steamroll people?
I think Grant Hill
no chance.
Dude, Grant Hill was
we were just talking about this. It's a different era. It's a different era. These guys are freaks.
But he was but he was ahead of his time. T-Mac too. T-Mac is
T-Mac was. I agree with that.
Yeah, but what was the main difference between him and Grant Hill was he was a bit bigger and stockier, but Grant was a complete player. Threes, defense, free throws, 3-point range, everything. I'm not saying he's going to be top 10 and lead the league in scoring. No. But he wouldn't be a defensive liability. You wouldn't worry about rolling him out to cover a 1, a 2, or 3, or even a 4 in the current NBA. It's just a different game.
This is nostalgic, bringing back that era. I mean, the Kobe Bryant, T-Mac, Vince Carter era was probably the best era in sports, not just basketball, in sports.
You're saying in that league, like that league at that time?
That many superstars, that many capable.
Oh yeah, late 90s, early 2000s. This is Pete and I's like heyday. Of
like you can't. There's no sports era better than that era.
Stevie Francis.
Yes.
People sleep on Stevie Francis. Dude was amazing.
Starbury.
Of course, Starbury.
I like Stephon Marbury.
but like he was cooking people, man. Like he was amazing.
Yeah.
Right? Like as good as Steph is with the ball, right? He had a blueprint that's to some degree, right, with these guards that came before him. Now, Steph's handle's pretty awesome. I don't remember. It wasn't that long ago that I got into this debate with somebody about. I think it was with Stevie. Kyrie's actually got the best handles, in my opinion, in the league right now. As good as Steph is, I still think Kyrie with the ball in his hand is shiftier, more precise, not as flashy, but like they're all good. Like there's no bad answer here. But yeah, late 90s like was peak NBA.
Chris Webber. I mean, you got your Kings Lakers rivalry like that. Everybody tuned in for Kings Lakers.
And those teams were like, you didn't have two Webbers, you had one, and you had a center. Vlade was revolutionary, right? He reinvented himself as a passing big man. That didn't exist.
Oh yeah.
You had a whole league of, Brian Reeves, right? Like just these big bodied, junior Yao Ming style players. Yao was really good too, actually. People sleep on Yao. Yeah. Like Houston had they went from Hakeem to Yao.
Yep.
Right? But you had like players specializing in things, right? Robert Ory would come in and just shoot those corner threes, right? Like
I remember those corner threes to win.
Everybody had a thing. Everybody had a thing. There's no thing in the NBA anymore. It doesn't exist.
I think we talked about this last week, didn't we? How the NBA really dropped the ball. Yeah.
That's part of the reason why the league is hard to watch. Like I'm actually watching. I'm watching. I don't know if you've got it up or if you're watching it. The Wizards were up almost, I think, 10 or 15 at some point in this game. They're now up by 2 with 56 seconds to go. So if you don't have it up,
I thought it was a lock for them.
No. We're about to go into the we're into that part of the season, Andy. We did this every time. Like people would play the triple loser parlay all the time last year, right? When you had the Nats, the Caps, and the Wiz.
Yeah,
all in action, right? So the Nats already lost today, Caps lost today, and the Wiz. I mean, they might win. They're up 2.
They're up by 6 now.
No, don't ruin it. Oh,
with 28 seconds to go.
You're literally killing me. I
know.
Oh my God! All right,
just turn it off.
No, I'm watching Bub on the line right now. I want to see him go. But my point is like. If we're gonna talk, I could talk NBA forever too. Like, this is a bad combination of me being kind of full of energy but tired at the same time, and I'm drugged up, so like I feel better than I sound. It's a weird space.
And the voice of reason is absent.
Yeah. The reason I love that NBA and we grew up watching it and emulating it and playing it at rec leagues and church ball and whatever is because you didn't identify with everybody. You identified with somebody, right? And you wanted to be a better version of that specific person, right? Mike Bibby was an amazing point guard in his era. He couldn't play in today's NBA, right? But at the time, he was great. Stevie Francis, people sleep on him. I think he could play in the current NBA. He was a complete point guard. He was a little bit more showy than
He reminds me of Chris Paul.
No way.
He kind of does.
Type 2000 slam dunk contest, and then fast forward through all of the Vince Carter highlights, which are amazing, and watch Steve Francis's dunks in that dunk contest. 2000 dunk contest was
Well, are we talking about dunks or point guard?
I'm saying in general. Steve Francis, if you look at the current adaptation of him, or like who plays the game the way he did back then, it's Russell Westbrook. Attack your defender. Force the ball, force all the action to the middle of the court, and then just slam the ball on everybody you gets in front of you. Right? Like Russell obviously has lost a step. Like people will never truly appreciate how Russell Westbrook is, right? Because he was that like late 90s guard in the late 2010s NBA. Even here, most notably, like 2-3 seasons ago when he was a Wizard, he's averaging a triple-double. So like, don't tell me that those players couldn't play today. Steve Francis is Russell Westbrook. They're literally the same size, same game. You could put him in the NBA today, and he would ball out. All of those point guards would. The ones that couldn't get any points would be the power forwards that were asleep at the wheel, right? The ones like, I'll be honest, Tim Duncan is a top 10, top 15 player on most people's, definitely top 15, maybe top 10 for a lot of people. Big fundamental. Would he struggle in today's NBA? Yes or no? He can't shoot.
Yes, he can.
He's not shooting threes.
No. Well, yeah. I mean,
he was off the glass. He was elbow off the glass.
Yes, exactly. He always hit that little bank shot.
But nobody shoots 18-footers
10 feet off the bucket. Why not?
Well, because why would you take 2 when you can get 3?
That's fair. I mean, I was watching oh God, what game was it on? That was yesterday. It was a game that, it was the Grizzlies game.
Was Ja playing?
Yeah, it was Ja and whatever. It was the Grizzlies game yesterday. I forget who they were playing. Grizzlies ended up losing. I think it was the Warriors. Grizzlies Warriors. And I think midway into the fourth quarter, so the game's almost wrapped up, right? Midway into the fourth quarter, and they show up a stat line, the 3-pointers, percentages and field goals made and attempted. Let me ask you, guess how many 3-point field goals each team had thrown up? Huh?
Had attempted?
Attempted, yeah. How many did they attempt midway into the fourth?
Midway into the fourth. I mean, minimum of 10 per quarter. 36 each.
Both
40.
North of 50. Both of them
Each?
were north of 50 each.
Oh,
Joe.
no. I mean, I can't watch it.
Each. I vividly remember they threw up the stat line for the Grizzlies specifically. Now, obviously, the Warriors probably had more.
Not basketball. Now it's just
51.
It's just a Tuesday night 3-point contest. This is not basketball. Sorry, I can't do it. The only saving grace here is as horrible as the NBA regular season is, the postseason typically is much better. You're seeing the same team for a minimum of 3 games in a row. You can't, you have to play actual basketball in the postseason.
Agreed.
Right? So, and it gets better as the postseason tournament progresses, but no, I'm not watching that. I can't ask my kids to watch it. I can't ask coaches to teach it. No, I'm out. Out.
How's the NBA going to fix the NBA? I can't watch the NBA. How are they going to fix the NBA?
I mean, I don't know how I don't know how the NBA is going to fix the NBA, to be honest, because the commissioner's asleep at the wheel. He thinks everything's great. He thinks all the social justicing is making a difference and whatever. I mean, you got their TV partners saying we're not going to pay you, or threatening to not pay you, or we can't pay our other leagues because we have to pay you. The NBA is in a very weird spot where the players' salaries, which are directly tied to the TV deals, are way too high. Like the product is not worth it. It's if it's not getting your eyeballs or my eyeballs, and we have money tied to our eyeballs, who's buying this stuff? You know, the NFL and Major League Baseball in particular, they have all of these like talking head shows and the podcasts. They license out their highlights. I don't know if you follow, like how closely you follow this, Andy, but you will never find NBA highlights that are not sponsored on, meaning like there aren't ads running on them on YouTube. You can't do it. NBA takes them all down. So as bad as their game is, you can't even condense it into highlight packages without paying royalties. But there's no highlights. So, you know, like if we wanted to run a Wizards, you know, package and talk about it, I mean, I'm not paying for it, but I couldn't stream it anyway. They would take it down. The NFL doesn't care, right? They allow everybody with a teleprompter to, you know, tell us straight and circle and whatever, and because that's you know, and the argument is that that's how people consume media today, right? In 30-second chunks. Well, ironically, the NBA product is best consumed in 30-second chunks because there isn't that many highlights to begin with, but they don't even allow it, right? Like as if they're trying to protect something. But the game and how it's played is extremely far. Now, just to bring it a little bit closer to home, I love what the Wizards are doing. I don't know if you did any of the homework from last week, but AJ Johnson.
Wait, hold on. Before we go down this road.
Yeah.
Just have to say it. Did you see that Melo wants to buy?
Yeah, I saw.
That's a fraction of the Wizards or whatever.
He wants to buy a piece of the Wizards, and Jay-Z wanted a piece of the Commanders once upon a time or whatever. That's fine. Let him buy a piece as long as he's not running the team. I don't care. I mean, Jordan
Jay-Z does it.
Well, I think it's fine. Whatever.
All right. Yeah.
I'm more concerned with.
Talk to me about this AJ guy because I have never heard of his name before. Never heard his name before.
AJ Johnson. So it's a name you need to get to know, right? Over the last couple of weeks now, he's popping up. He's playing real minutes in the Wizards rotation. He's crested, I think, 20 points twice, 15 points 3 or 4 times, playing like a very complete stat line. Although he's still a young developing player. He came over from the Bucks as part of the Middleton trade, right? I mean, he was a throw-in, but I actually really think they may have found like the piece, a piece here. Yeah. Because what they have in Sar, like Sar is having an absolute stud of a season. Like even if you're just casually watching this team, nobody casually watches the Wizards, but if you were, he's got 100 3-pointers, which is awesome on the season. His field goal percentage has been solid. He's grown tremendously, especially on the offensive end of the court this season. Like as a rookie, you could not ask more of him. And Bub Carrington, who I said was going to be the best rookie in this class, you know, he's awesome. He hasn't missed a single game all season. So they did lose Bilal Coulibaly. He's done for the season. But AJ Johnson is a nice little piece that they've got. You know, basically, they didn't know what they were getting, or maybe they did. This front office absolutely deserves an award. I mean, I wish when they did like the postseason awards, they would consider like trades and moves in general. Being able to offload Beal, you know, last season, and then making this happen this season, or was it 2 seasons ago with Beal? I don't remember. But getting rid of that contract and seeing how the Suns have basically tanked with him, like getting rid of that weight around your team, and then making some of these acquisitions between Smart and Middleton and AJ Johnson. And now they're in a position where like they very much could land Cooper Flagg. Like this is a real possibility now. This is a good team. Like this is forget about the statistics. Just look at how they're comprised. This front office has done a good job.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm looking at AJ Johnson's stats now. I wanted to see where he came from. You already mentioned it, Milwaukee. He's a rookie. He was a first round pick, number 23. I don't know if that matters so much in the NBA. Really, it's like the first 3 picks that matter. But yeah, I mean, he was not getting much playing time, if any at all, really, with Milwaukee. Yep. Comes over here to Washington. You know, he's got a couple big games. You know, he's a spark. You know what I'm saying? Like he brings energy to the team. I'm looking at his stats now. I mean, it's like he's not the the last 2 to 3 games, he's had, a showing in points. But other than that, he kind of just scores like 9, 10 points every game. So if it's not his points, it better be his energy, right? Like,
yeah. When you watch him on the court, you'll see it's the intangibles, right? It's the other stuff. He's in the right place. He's diving for the balls, and he's playing inspired basketball, right? But he did start, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to get to the box score here.
Tonight?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jordan Poole was pacing the team. I think he was over 20. Bub and AJ were flirting with 20, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to pull it up.
Yeah, I mean, same with this guy Johnson. He had 19 points.
Yeah, great.
6 assists.
Yeah. Did Sar
50%.
get 20?
Who?
What did Alex Sar? What did you get? How many points?
I think I saw. I mean, at halftime he had 12 points.
Yeah. I'm looking at it. He had 15. Look at Justin Champagne. Champagne had 8
that guy
points.
still playing?
Yeah, he started tonight. I'm telling you, there is. I mean, I'm a huge Anthony Gill fan. I'm the only one that says it out loud all the time. I love Anthony Gill, right? But he had 7 tonight. I mean, in 30 minutes, like they are playing everyone. Keyshawn George.
Where's Keyshawn George? Yeah, is he playing?
He didn't play tonight. Yeah, Sadiq Bey didn't play tonight. There was a bunch held out, right? Like
Middleton.
No. It was. If
I
you
would love to get, our fans' opinion on who got the better end of that deal. Middleton.
Kuzma. We did. 100%. The Wiz got better.
No.
But what's Kuzma done? What's Kuzma doing for Milwaukee?
I mean, I know he's doing more than Middleton's doing for us. What is Middleton doing for us?
Yeah, but your objective wasn't to win games. Your objective was to get younger and have pieces potentially either as trade bait or to develop and go get Cooper. Like if Cooper comes here, I guess we have to talk about Cooper here for a second. Is he Adam Morrison or is he Christian Laettner? Because if he's Adam Morrison, he doesn't improve the team. If he's Christian Laettner, this team goes from, the pathetic 16 wins or 10 wins or whatever they're at right now. They're flirting with playoffs if it's Laettner. Like if he comes in here and
no. I don't think he's either of those. I mean, is it just because they're white?
I mean, that's the easy one. But no, I mean, I don't know. He just, there's some comparison. No? Who does he remind you of?
He reminds me more of a. God, I feel like I'm gonna get completely roasted.
Just hit it. I mean, if anybody knows, if there's one person you can have this conversation with, it's me, right? Like, and it's look, I've heard them all, right? He's Jalen Johnson. No, he's not. He's way better. He's Andre Kirilenko. That to me is a tall order. People, do you remember AK-47? That guy did
Andre Kirilenko.
Everything. I don't know
Andre
if
Kirilenko.
that good. I hear Scotty Barnes. Okay, maybe. And then there's a couple out there. I've heard people compare him to Kevin Garnett. I don't think he's Kevin Garnett. Sorry.
So he's a big man, right? Like he's big. He's not a guard, although he can play the position of guard.
Sure.
He reminds me of Luka.
Well, okay, then. Okay. I mean, that's amazing. Okay.
He does. He reminds me of Luka. He can go up. He can play any position on the floor. I mean, not bang around with the big men, but there's no big men in the game anymore, really. So, and he takes control of the game. He's a smart player, right? Like he's not going to make dumb mistakes. I mean, he will as a rookie, but he's a smart player. He understands the game. He understands the systems, the strategy, the schematics of the game. Like he's a smart player. He doesn't rely just on his athleticism, and I think that's what makes him the most dangerous.
And that's fair, right? I mean, it's hard to compare him to. I mean, like I said, I've heard people compare him to Aaron Gordon, and I walk away with saying like, I can kind of see it, like an aggressive, big-bodied guy, right? And I mean, I just picked 2, guys basically, right? But I Adam Morrison, if you remember what he did for Gonzaga coming out, like,
he was a stud in college.
Exactly. People expected him to shoulder the weight of a team. This has nothing to do with white or black or pink or whatever. I don't care. Like, can you play basketball? That's all I care about. His game didn't translate, and it was more as little as his game did translate. His demeanor, like it just didn't work. Like he didn't have that persona, that gravitas that allowed him to do anything. Christian Laettner was a stud collegiate player and a really, really good professional player as well. Right. And that's the reason I kind of pulled them up. But I mean, if he's Andre Kirilenko, I want him on my team. Right. I mean, if he's Jason Tatum, I want him on my team. Like nobody knows. Like he's a kid. Like he's still developing, but the ceiling is very high. I mean, very high. Kevin Garnett was extremely raw coming out of high school, going straight to the NBA. Look at what he turned into, right? I mean, it's possible. It's possible.
I mean, speaking of, Cooper and the 4 teams, I know this is not your favorite subject, right? But there's actually another guy who I think is NBA ready. I forget his first name, but his last name is Broom, and he plays for Auburn. He's a big man. He got hurt last game. I'm not entirely sure what it was. It was his elbow, but he sat out for a lot of the second half. But that guy can play. I think he averages like a double-double. He might actually have the record for the NCAA, double-doubles, like total double-doubles in his career, his collegiate career. But look him up. He plays for Auburn. He's like a big man, power forward or center. Last name is Broom, Broome.
Johnny.
Yeah, Janai. Yeah, Janai Broome.
Yeah.
That guy, when I watched him play, he looks NBA ready.
I'm looking at the big board. You got him at 36.
He's NBA ready from what I've seen.
No.
I don't care what they say. He looks NBA ready. We're talking about
but you're not going to spend a top 3 pick on a player.
Absolutely get Cooper Flagg. I'm not saying don't.
Or Dylan Harper or Ace Bailey. Like get anybody. Like
Cooper Flagg is better than all those players.
Sure,
those players rely on athleticism. Cooper Flagg is a little bit of everything. Smarts too.
Yeah.
He's the leader. He can run the team.
Listen, I trust this front office for the first time in a long time. I mean, they're allowed to make.
Even if our record is the worst, like we still might not get the first pick, right? Because the NBA does the stupid lottery.
Yeah, I know. But the last time we got it, we got, John Wall. So, like, we're due.
I hope so.
Listen, I'm one of the guys. I'm one of the guys that was saying you can't really lose anything by bringing him back and let him, just let him play, let him finish out his career, whatever. I got to be honest, Andy. I've come full circle on this. I don't want him anywhere near the team, and it's not because I don't like him.
Talking about John Wall?
Yeah, like I don't mind him. Like as a human, he's never irritated me the way a Gilbert Arenas has, right? Or any of the other former Wizards that are just talking about the team. Like he loves the team and he loves the city, and I love him for that. But right now, Marcus Smart and Chris Middleton, and like we just said, like a lot of the older players on the team, the vets, they're not playing, right? Like this staff right now is on full, like they are full on assessing everybody and developing everybody, and it's working. Like there's no way Bub and Sar and George, these guys cannot develop this quickly if they had gone to anywhere else and not played. What if they played 50% of what they played? As far as this year, they played meaningful minutes every game, even though the team wasn't competitive. So, as far as I'm concerned,
Jordan Poole, the front office is doing great. Jordan Poole is only 25 years old.
Yeah, he's a good example of somebody that is slowly changing my mind about him. Right, I was out on Poole, big time out on Poole. Too much of a me guy. Not a lot of substance there. Too much noise around him constantly. He wants to be the face of the team, but doesn't want. Very Kuzma-like in that regard. Since Kuzma, sometimes you trade away the piece, and everybody else wakes up and realizes, maybe the grass isn't always greener somewhere else. So Poole, he's still got a lot of basketball ahead of him. But they're asking him to lead a bunch of young guys, and he is a young guy.
He's young himself, yeah.
You stick him into a team with more vets around him. Like, I hate to say it, but if Dallas is fully healthy, stick him there. He gives those wily vets, right, somebody who can go do everything. He gets to play off of those guys. He'll get
stinks.
Well, as they're constructed today, yeah. But Poole into that lineup, with, I mean, Clay has clearly lost a step, but who knows what Kyrie looks like when he comes back. But just assume healthy all across the board, older but healthy. He'd be pretty good in that lineup.
Sure. AJ Johnson is 6'5" too. You're right. This is probably the first time I've pulled the Wizards roster up, and I'm just looking at it, looking at their age, looking at their height, looking at honestly their salary too. Guess who?
FP's been saying it, dude. FP's been saying this is it's OKC, right? Like OKC. they have OKC. Like this is a young team, lots of draft capital, like, and they're not overspending. So all of this Kevin Durant may come here, may not. Like I'm sorry, I'm past all that too. Like I don't want to deal with that noise. Like we are.
What's your It's so strange to say this, but your NBA Finals prediction, because it's the two top teams right now in the East and the West, and it's so weird for me to say these two names.
I mean, I think Boston will be there in the end. I mean, that's I don't think anyone beats them in a series. No.
Cleveland.
I would cheer for it. But Boston is a really well constructed team, and they've been there, and they're not. I mean, they're not young. They're proven. They're championship DNA. Like they again, and this playoff basketball very different.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's one thing when you're beating up on the Bobcats and the Hornets and the whatever. Right. If you've got to play, if these teams have to face each other, 5 times, assuming it goes 5, or say four times in a week and a half, it's a very different game. I don't think West. Boston. West is more open. I don't know. You could convince me that there's a couple teams that probably challenge. I don't believe in the Rockets. The Nuggets have come on really strong, and they're probably the most complete team. The Lakers will be there if everyone's healthy. Thunder, the Thunder are just, I think, better than everyone else. But again, if push comes to shove, I would pick the Nuggets or the Lakers or even the Warriors to beat the Thunder, because at that moment, experience matters more.
You're such an old head. It's going to be OKC and Cleveland, and OKC is going to win it this year.
That would be so. As bad as that would be for the ratings of the NBA this season, it would be the best thing to happen to the NBA.
Yeah.
Because
there's no LeBron story.
Casuals are already
story.
That's right. Casuals are already casualing it up.
Yeah.
This would be like for the hardcore basketball people. Yeah, let's do it. It sucks. It sucks that with all of the winning happening in the league and all of the actual storylines that matter and the young players that are coming up, every talking head show on ESPN is about Stephen A. Smith versus LeBron versus Jordan. Oh my God. I can't listen to it anymore. I can't. Like ESPN used to be about highlights, and it doesn't work. Oh, the dramatic zoom in is perfect. I'm going to clip that. That was perfect. Let's keep it moving, Andy. I feel like I'm losing you. No major movement around the NFL. Aaron Rodgers still undecided. Do you care anymore? What percent do you care about Aaron Rodgers?
I have never cared about Aaron Rodgers and where he goes. I still don't think he's going to play this year. No team is going to want this toxic man on their team. He's proven the past 2 seasons that he cannot play football anymore. I don't care what anybody says. The man cannot play anymore. He's 40-some years old. He gets banged around. He's slow.
Lost basketball? You think it's?
I do. He can come in, and I don't think he will because he's got too big of an ego. He can come in and be a Marcus Mariota like a second-string solid backup to a young quarterback. But no chance Aaron Rodgers and his ego will ever let that happen. He always butts heads with head coaches, so no head coach really even wants him on the team. Like, this is just a recipe for disaster. His career should have ended, 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
He should have retired a Packer.
Yeah.
Yeah, the injury was unfortunate, and maybe if that doesn't happen, things play out different. But honestly, it's kind of sad. Like, he went from being considered one of the greatest to an active, forgotten player.
Right.
Like, does he actually make any, Steelers aside, does he make any roster better in the sense that they go from non-competing to competing?
I don't even think he makes the Steelers better. Literally, Mike Tomlin would rather roll with Mason Rudolph
You could
Aaron
put
Rodgers.
listen, it's a fair argument when you got Pickens on one side and DK on the other, and two good running backs. Like, why do you need Rodgers, right? Like, why do the Titans want to do that? Like, what? Like, it costs you a season no matter where you go. The only exception here might be Miami.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, the Vikings, sure, okay. Like, the Vikings still have all the pieces in place, and you could argue he's at worst a wash with Darnold, but he would be an upgrade over Tua. Like, you put him there with speed on both sides and really good running backs and a soft schedule.
I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I'll tell you why. Because I don't think he
also
moves.
Weather.
I don't think he moves as fast as the NFL moves anymore. I'm telling you, I think he is slower than the game now, both decision making and physically. He can't get the ball there quick enough.
It's possible.
He can barely. I feel like he can't throw the ball more than like 35 yards now.
Well, I mean, he still had some zip. He still. I mean, if you looked at his, we did this already, but his end of season stats they're not terrible, right? But they're also not top 5, which is where you need to be if you're competing for, a Super Bowl. He's not going to be
hard
better.
To look at quarterback stats, man. You can do a little screen pass that goes 80 yards, and then the stats chalk it up as an 80-yard pass.
But everyone gets those, right? I mean, everyone has those, right? But when you talk about the teams that we expect to challenge for the Super Bowl next year, because Aaron's not in this, just like Brady at the end. He's not in this for a couple more wins to pad his stats. He's only looking at rings. The teams you would pick, the top 4 or 5 competitors all have like legit stud quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the honestly, the worst of the competitive teams that in this, for the purpose of this conversation, might be the Commanders. Right. I mean, I'm saying it. I'm trying to be a little bit more neutral here, but they may be the worst team of the 6 or 7 that have the best
contenders.
Shot. Yeah, I'm not saying that. I mean, they're still upper tier, but okay. Like,
you know what you just reminded me of when you mentioned Brady, right? Like when Brady came to Tampa Bay, tail end of his career, clearly doesn't have the arm strength. He didn't have old Tom Brady, like, I don't even want to say athleticism because the man is not athletic, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
He was at least aware and conscious of enough to understand that of his limitations, and he made up for it with his, his mismatches, his play calling, his understanding of the game. Like, I think Aaron Rodgers could do that, but I think mentally Aaron Rodgers still thinks he can play. He still thinks he can physically play better than what, the product is on the field for him. So I think there's a big disconnect there. If Aaron Rodgers just kind of came to an understanding with himself that I can't really, compete as fast as I used to compete, but let me put my brain to work. Let me look at the mismatches. Let me create mismatches. Let me go ahead and, understand that I don't need to go 40 yards every game. I don't need a big play every play. I think Aaron Rodgers could suffice and still could compete in the league on a contender if he had that mentality. But there's nothing in the past 2 years to show me that he's got that mentality. Yeah. The guy's got too big of an ego.
Yeah, he's only interested in his brand at this point and going on McAfee. And honestly, I'm kind of over McAfee too. I know I'm in the ratings wise, I'm in the minority. I just miss old school, like, sports talk. Like, I just want to tune in to people not screaming at each other, having a debate about something of relevance happening. Much like this show, to be very honest. Right? Like, we all have our moments and we get heated in this and that, but I can't do 2 hours every single day of passionate discussion about whatever the topic is. I can't. It's too much. Like, no one has time.
Not real.
It's not. Yeah. I mean, it's not. You're right. It's not genuine. I just can't do it. And Aaron just doesn't seem very real anymore. I mean, it's kind of sad. I mean, but whatever. Like, what are you gonna do, right? Like, I don't know who's gonna sign him at this point. Maybe you're right. Maybe he does nothing, and an injury happens, and somebody calls, right? And that's his way back in, perhaps.
I think he would probably, again, it comes back to this whole ego thing. He probably would rather walk away from the game than play as a backup or
or go to the
You know,
Titans or go,
yeah.
you know, to
He
Arizona.
would rather walk away. His ego, and it's fine, whatever. But, you know, that's also a very viable option. The second, you know, a contender gets injured for whatever reason, you know, he could be the first phone call. And would he come there? Would he come back and play? Would he get off the couch and play? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know either, but maybe, right? If the Bengals call, go. Right? If something were to happen to Burrow or something were to happen to even to Herbie, you know, with the Chargers, like there's some situations you probably say, all right, we can mask some of his lack of athleticism here. Like I would trust Harbaugh to do that. Either one of them, to be honest.
Fair.
Not that, you know, Lamar for whatever you think of him, he doesn't get injured. So
No, I don't also think Harbaugh would want anything to do with Rodgers, but
no,
yeah, that's enough of Rodgers. Beat this horse.
Buddy, I'm out. Andy, I'm out of sports topics. Do you have anything left you want to talk about sports wise?
I haven't watched. I mean, I'm wearing a Nationals sweater and a Nationals freaking hat, but I haven't watched much of the first week of baseball of the season. You know, just look at the scoreboards to check on the Nats and stuff. But I don't think we're that good. I think
one win would say we're not. But the bigger surprise, I mean, say what you want about the Nats, and Matt and Stevie have been keeping us, you know, abreast of things in the chat, and I do promise we will get him in here to do a baseball show. The Braves starting 0-6
that's a surprise.
Wild. The AL Central not having a single team over 500 is statistically wild. The NL West having 3 teams at this, you know, this early in the season, 2 of them basically undefeated, somewhat expected, right? But like, this is the earliest in the season that I've ever heard Matt basically say, "Yep, we know who's going to be there in the final month of the season," right? Like, that's wild, and that's actually it's the worst thing that anybody could say about a sport, right? Like, is that it's so predestined this early in that like 162 games is useless to begin with, but if there's really no meaning behind it, you gotta challenge why we're doing it at all.
Yeah, I mean, there's two things specifically, at least with baseball, that I want to get your thoughts on too. Number one, the Yankees' new baseball bats. Have you heard about?
Yeah, good. Do it. Great. I hope we get more home runs. I am pro offense.
I mean, the Yankees, and this leads into my next point, right? Like the Yankees are they're an all-star team. Like you put together an NBA all-star team, like the Pro Bowl in the NFL, like the Yankees are a Pro Bowl team themselves. Baseball, MLB doesn't have a cap. Like teams can spend $700 million on a guy. There is no cap. I think there needs to be a cap. It needs to happen for a more competitive league so that, you know, the smaller markets have a chance. Like there needs to be a cap in the MLB. There has to be.
Well, I would challenge that by saying if there was one league that you get more parity than anywhere else, even though you have it, it's baseball. It's actually very seldom that, I mean, right now we're looking at it through the lens of the Dodgers,
right,
and the Yankees. Okay, but Houston was back to back World Series appearances. They had a big salary, but it was never the highest in the league. When the Nats made their run, they weren't the highest in the league. Like, it's like I would have to do some research on this, but I don't think spending the most equals winning. In the other leagues, you maybe, right? But there's caps, right? And you could go over in the salary cap and whatever. But how many times did the Marlins or the Tampa Bay Rays come out of nowhere and win the World Series, and then their owner disassembled, like literally dismantled the championship franchise because he didn't want to pay anybody, right? Like it's not that long ago that the Rays, I think it was 16. I got to go back and look, but
I get what you're saying.
The Kansas City Royals were not an expensive team. Like they just did it. They tried to keep them together, but the Rays and the Marlins in particular, every time they get competitive and good, their owners sell off all the pieces. They will not spend money.
I get it, and I don't think as a league like that's a good product. Like, I don't agree with the idea
I agree with that. Tampa has a stadium that they're forcing taxpayers to build, and nobody wants to go to games. That Miami can't even get their families in the stadium in Miami, right? So I hear you on that. It's a bad product. It's a bad look. But I don't know if you can demonize the spenders because the non-spenders don't want to spend. Like, it's, if you did this in the NFL,
I'd have to do more research, like you said. I don't think it's the matter they don't want to spend. I mean, maybe they can't spend. You got big markets in New York, big markets in LA, big money, superstardom. Like, are you gonna in Seattle or who am I looking at here? Give me a no name.
But Andy, that's what
Colorado Rockies. Like,
sure,
come on.
But the rising tide raises all the ships, right? So those teams, like how many teams are truly competing for a World Series? Truly,
like 3. Like, I feel like there needs to be more.
So how do all the others make money? Let's just keep it real simple. How do all of them make money?
Oh, they have really
TV.
Rich owners.
TV. I'm saying the money comes from TV deals, right? It's the league rights. So the huge big spenders, like when ESPN strikes a deal to broadcast Major League or any network, Fox, baseball going into the fall, whatever.
Sure. Right.
They're spending to secure the broadcast rights to the product, not specific teams, to the product. Now they pick the specific teams they want, and of course they would, right? You want those teams to be the big market teams, right? Like, in the end, nobody cares about Kansas City versus the Rockies, to your point. Or even, frankly, the Nats versus the Twins. Like,
whatever, right?
Doesn't move the needle. Just doesn't matter. They may have one-off players here and there, but the Yankees and the Mets, the Dodgers and the Angels,
I get it.
The Cubs, the White Sox, like those are big market teams that have been terrible for 20 years. Like,
no, I get it from a business standpoint, from a fan's standpoint. Like, I'm so over the Dodgers getting everybody. I'm so over the Yankees getting everybody, and it's always those two teams. It's like the LeBron James effect in the NBA. Like, that's all they ever do or talk about. Put a cap on the league, put a cap on the spending, make it more competitive, widen the net a little bit, get some of these smaller market teams to kind of elevate.
But to what effect? Like, to what point? Okay, so Juan Soto doesn't become he becomes a Royal?
Let's spread the superstars around. Let's make it more competitive. I would think that would be a better product. I would tune in to
if it was a 16-game season, I would agree with you because every home game would matter, right? If it was the NFL, I'm with you 100%.
There's too many games in MLB.
That's too many games.
There's too many games.
I agree, it's too many games, but that's why you can't have Juan Soto in Cincinnati Reds uniform because they're not going to get on TV enough to be able to market him to sell ads to eventually generate more TV ad revenue.
I don't care about the business aspect of it. If it makes sense from a business standpoint, sure. From a fan standpoint, like, the product sucks. I hate watching the two teams always on TV.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree. Well, I mean, some are worse than others, right? But like, for the baseball purists, right? Like, I would be interested to see what Matt and Stevie's take is on that, right? Like, they're not going to like it, right? They're not going to like it, but I don't know if they would get rid of it. Or cap it.
Yeah, I'd be curious to regen this topic up with them because I don't know the most about baseball. I don't know the most about the sport at all. I'm a homer. I like the Nats. I know maybe 3 players on the Nats, but
all right. So before next week, you only got a couple whiz games that you can possibly still watch. So I would try to watch at least one. You know what you should do? Honesty.
Would you go to a game for $7?
Yes, maybe not in my current state and make everybody sick, but. Yeah, I definitely would. You should take your phone into the shower, since we learned last week about, by the way,
with my toothbrush.
Fallout from the toothbrush. We'll just save it for another time. But
another poll. Figure out how to get a poll on this podcast because I guarantee you more than 50%.
Phone with you to the shower. You should go onto YouTube and type Wizards condensed game and just watch tonight's game. the whole thing in like the 12-minute. They have a short condensed, which is like 4.5 minutes, and a standard condensed, which is like 12 minutes. And the beauty of YouTube, you can hit the 1.25 speed thing. So 12-minute clip, about 8 minutes or so, you're done. But you watch the whole game that way. I gotta be honest, that's how I've consumed most of my Wizards game film this year. But it's fine. Like, you just to give you a little sense of what's going on. Like, it's yeah. All right. I want to shift into OMC. If you're ready, I'm ready.
Drum roll.
All right. Let's hit our new sounder.
This is the Off-Season Movie Club, rewatching the classics.
Okay, I kind of love it. I got to be honest. I love it. Is the best.
It's very cool.
I'm so excited. Cool. I'm so excited. 1994's True Lies. Let me do a little recapping for those that weren't here. That is the movie of the week. We've got two sounders, by the way. This has come up. We have rewatching the classics and then get your popcorn. So we'll use them interchangeably, but I think anything older, if it's an instant classic or what we call a classic, we're just going to use that tag. But either way, we have an official sounder now. It's official. OMC is here to stay. 1994's True Lies, rated 7.3 by the critics, Andy. Rated 70%, so basically the same by the fans. Not bad overall. Here's the recap. Secretly a spy, but thought by his family to be a dull salesman, Harry Tasker, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, is tracking down nuke missiles in the possession of Islamic jihadist Aziz, played by Art Malik. Harry's mission is complicated when he realizes his neglected wife, Helen, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, is contemplating an affair with Simon, played by Bill Paxton, R.I.P., a used car salesman who claims he's also a spy. When Aziz kidnaps Harry and Helen, the secret agent must save the world and patch up his marriage at the same time. Super loaded cast for this early 90s flick. I already said Arnold, Jamie Lee Curtis, Bill Paxton. We lost another legend, and we'll talk about Val Kilmer here in just a minute. But Bill Paxton, amazing performance in my opinion in this one. Are you familiar with Eliza Dushku and her work? This is a younger this is one of her first on-screen appearances, so we'll talk about her. Tia Carrera, are you familiar with Tia?
No.
Oh man, Juno Skinner.
You got to tell me what they were in.
I'll pull them up as we go here. But
Eliza what?
Eliza, Eliza Dushku. She plays Dana Tasker.
Dana's the child.
Yeah, she plays Arnold, and she plays exactly. I'm pulling up her discography right now so I can give you some movies and shows. She's in
what she's in.
Bring It On, Wrong Turn, the Dollhouse TV show, which was pretty interesting on Fox circa 09-10. The New Guy, True Calling, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Bull, Banshee, Alphabet Killer, Bob and Silent J, That Night, Sex and Breakfast. She does have I think a small role in City by the Sea, which is a super underrated movie from 2002, but she's in a bunch of stuff. I'm just curious if you'd seen her or if you knew who she was. That's okay.
Nope.
Are you familiar with Bill Paxton, Andy? Have you watched the movie with Bill Paxton? Okay.
Yes, half the movies you mentioned for this Eliza actress and shows, even I have never heard of. I have never actually heard of Dollhouse. I'm sorry, I don't know what Dollhouse is.
Dollhouse was a short-lived show on the Fox TV network. We can talk about that another time. But the one actor I want to highlight here before we jump into it, as notable as everyone is, there's one performance in particular, in my opinion, that outshines the rest, and that is of Tom Arnold. I love Tom Arnold in this movie. Tom Arnold is awesome from beginning to end in this film. He plays Albert Gibson. He's the fast-talking partner of Harry Tasker.
Yeah.
Awesome from literally the opening scene to the closing credits. Just freaking absolutely crushed it. So, I don't want to bury the lead. I'd like to get your thoughts on it. We will get FPs when he comes back, so we don't have his rating. But I'd like to get your thoughts on it, and I'll give you my rating, then you give me yours.
My thoughts, because I had never seen this movie before.
Had you ever heard of it? See, this is wild to me.
I don't know if I've heard of the movie True Lies. I feel like there's
like core action. This is like peak action era 90s James Cameron stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like this is 2 years after Terminator 2, like where Arnold and Cameron worked together. Like, I'm surprised this was in your blind spot.
Well, that's why Off-Season Movie Club is so great. Like, I watch and learn about movies and shows and that I've never would have seen or watched, on my own or even heard of. But actually, when I was talking to a relative and I said, "Hey, I gotta go watch this movie now," they're like, "Like watching?" And I said, "True Lies." I mean, their voice, like, it went all high pitched. They're like, "I love that movie. You're about that amazing movie." So I was like, "Am I the only ding dong that hasn't watched this movie?" So it's a very popular movie, but
well, the answer is no, because FP also had never watched this movie. So
good movie. Okay, my initial thoughts were immediately off the bat highly entertaining. The comedic relief throughout the entirety of the movie was amazing. Very subtle, comedic things here and there to kind of like keep you interested and make you giggle a little bit, but it was nonstop action. The storyline itself, it was complex. It was layered because you had kind of two overlapping stories that merged into one, and it became the movie. But the main storyline was, it was whatever. It's, terrorists trying to bomb America. Good guy stops the bad guy type of thing. So from that aspect of it, plot was okay, expected. No surprises. Nothing at the very end that was like, oh man, gotcha. But I did like the creativity of the two storylines from the wife and affair turning into his main mission and his job, and then ultimately the whole movie. The comedic relief, like I said, was great. The acting was great. I did have to turn subtitles on because I didn't want to miss any important lines from Arnold, from Schwarzenegger.
Did you watch with the wife, or was this a solo endeavor?
I did. I watched with the wife.
What was her drive-by opinion? Had she seen it before?
I don't think she had either. No.
Okay. Did she make it to the end?
She did. She liked the movie. She thought it was a good movie.
Maybe not finishing the movie. Was there any risk of not finishing?
Are we gonna do this?
No. This is not a cheap. But it's like
she might have fallen asleep.
Okay.
Don't know. I'm not staring at her face.
Okay. Okay. So I'll tell you, I was excited for you guys to watch this, and I really will be excited to get FP's take on this one. This movie does a couple things that I don't know if I've seen a movie do it better. Bill Paxton's used car salesman, fake spy guy, does very little to actually advance the plot of the movie,
right?
But gives you this like 15-minute respite right in the middle where it's like, all right, we're not looking for the bad guys right now. We're just here to see if what's going to happen to this guy who's taking credit for Harry's work, ironically, with trying to get with Harry's wife at the same time. Right. So like it layers, like all of Bill Paxton's stuff is really just there to make Jamie Lee Curtis's character add depth to her character, that she's this neglected housewife, whatever. But his act, like his role in this, right? And this is right around Twister's time. Like he's got his own star power, like coming and going into this film. He kills it, man. Like he's this, like you like him, but you hate him at the same time, and you don't want him to succeed. And the ending of the movie, like he reappears, right, to kind of close his arc, and he's still pulling the same nonsense at the tango thing and whatever. I love what they did there. Tia Carrere's character, Juno Skinner, she doesn't have a lot of and this is not a shot, but she hasn't done a bunch of stuff. but she handles the role of the art curator pretty well. She also drops a couple of Arabic curse words, which always make me chuckle, you know, or she gets them yelled at her, whatever. Her demise in the limo, like off the side of the bridge when it explodes, is fine, right? Like, but like I've always enjoyed her in this specific role. I don't think there's one person I would recast or shoot differently, but I love Tom Arnold in this movie. Mm-hmm. Literally from the opening scene where he is just this fast talking, incessantly jabbering presence of, and you said it perfectly, just comedic relief. He's just every scene when they're walking into this secret building, whatever, you know, when they're scanning in and he's got his big belly out and his gun and his badge and he's constantly talking. You know, very bad tangent example is in Fast and Furious 2 when we were introduced to Tyrese's character. He's just eating and talking. Like he's the same guy 15 movies later. Like I said, it was a bad example, but Tom Arnold, he's so good in this one.
Yeah.
Like anytime he flashes on the screen, like you know you're getting something good. All the way to like when Arnold steals the fighter jet, right? Like and he's even in that moment, he's sweet talking and fast talking the pilots that just flew it, saying, "Oh, you know, you never forget when you fly this and this."
It's like riding a bike.
Just like he's just talking. Like it makes the movie to me infinitely rewatchable. Like there is never a time where I've seen this. I don't know if I've ever seen it on like network TV, but every time it pops up on a streamer, I'm like, yeah, I'll find 2 hours and sit down and watch this again. Like this is a good flick. There's really no part that I find myself skipping. You know, the most boring part of the movie is when they try to break down Helen's character in the like that's a long like 10-minute, 15-minute scene where she's in the glass box and they're trying to like break her or whatever, Doris and this and that, like whatever. But the scene leading up to it, right, where she tries to pretend to be like a exotic dancer or whatever, you know, she's well documented talking about how nervous she was shooting that and how like her and Arnold like worked on this and like, you know, so sorry to even go back a little bit further, they hire Arnold or Harry tells Tom Arnold's character to get the French guy to record like audio of him telling her what to do, and he's sitting there playing it. It's like people want to talk about Arnold as Terminator, like 92, like leading up to this movie, Arnold was Conan. He was synonymous with like he was typecast as strong, but he was a very specific type of actor. This was the first time where you see him like act, like, and he's doing other stuff, and he does fine. Like he does fine. It's not his best work. It's not. I mean, but it's fine. And you know, he's got his own fair share of like slick one-liners here and there as well. Right, early on when Dana steals money out of his partner's wallet, and he's like, "You're being robbed," and again, Tom is just, "Oh, and this and that," and she's probably doing it to pay for an abortion, and he wants to kill him. Like it's nonstop. It makes you chuckle, makes you laugh. I want to get your thoughts on the action sequences. Most notably, very rare that we find an action movie filmed in Washington, D.C. This is one of the few. We've got a lot of dramas. We've got a lot of political stuff, of course. Not a lot of action movies get shot in D.C. This one was shot in the early 90s in D.C. So for people that are local, like you will see things that you will recognize, and it's not blue screen or green screen. This is real stuff, including the shops at Georgetown Mall. What did you think of that sequence? That's within the first 20 minutes or so. That's the first real, hero interaction.
It's a theme throughout the entire movie. I mean, you said it perfectly, and for some reason, because I have kids and things like that, I could now. You know how, like, just hear me out on this. Shows these days for toddlers, right? The way that they get them hooked is by constantly doing something different, changing it up, a different scene, something new. It's not like, your old school Bear in the Big Blue House or whatever, those old slow moving shows that we used to watch growing up, Winnie the Pooh or whatever, those slower movies. Now you got Coco Melon and you got a bunch of like
fast, loud, fast,
Paw Patrol, fast, loud, stuff like that. This reminded me of that, but like an adult version, right?
Okay.
Like I couldn't look away. And it's because I didn't know what the hell was going to happen next. The man jumped on a horse.
The horse scene is the best.
And chased a motorcycle throughout the mall. They were in the elevator, and it was like comedic relief, just like too slow. Yeah, two very slow elevators going up, and then he makes this massive jump into the other building, the terrorist guy, and then the horse. You think he's gonna make the jump too, but then the horse stops. More comedic relief. Arnold Schwarzenegger's like, hey, why would you do that? Come on.
What kind of police horse are you?
Yeah, what kind of police horse are you? More comedic relief. But like, I agree with you in the sense that I would watch this again because it's so entertaining. It is so entertaining. You don't know what you're going to see. At the very end of the movie, he gets into the fighter jet.
Yeah.
Who saw that coming? Like, Arnold, he just hops into the fighter jet to go save his daughter who's hanging from a crane, and he shoots the missile
and shoots the bad guy into the bad guys.
Like hooks his belt, and then it goes through the window and it hits the helicopter. Like,
you're fired.
This is stuff that you cannot. No normal person can follow this in real time. They're like, what did I just watch? What just happened? This is grabbing my attention so hard. But I don't actually know if I answered your question, but that's just what was top of mind. Just hearing your thoughts on it, and then having a second.
I love that it was shot in DC. I love that
right.
the horse chase scenes were in DC. The lunch scene where Bill Paxton's character and Jamie, I'm blanking on names for some
at the Chinese restaurant.
That's all DC shot, right? The walking across the street when Arnold almost gets hit by a bus, that's actually shot in DC. And everything in the Georgetown, like that was shot in a set, obviously. Like they didn't shoot up the mall to do that bathroom scene. But even then, like sticking the old man in there with his drawers down, taking number 2, right? Like it's pretty well done, right? I mean, there is very few scenes that I would have edited out or said like it didn't really, like we don't need this. Even the slow scenes. But there's comedic relief on all sides here, right? When you have Arnold fake talking Arabic and telling the waiter he needs more garlic on the food and get it out of here early in the movie. The random tango dancing, okay, whatever. But then later on, there's a callback where Arnold's 2 partners are tangoing in the office, right, making fun of him. It's constant. It's constant. But even the terrorists, right, the bad guys. There's a scene where Crimson Jihad is filming their
what a name, by the way, Crimson Jihad.
But they're filming like their big announcement and the thing, and the guy shooting the camera, he's like, Aziz Battery, and he's like, go get another one. Right, like that's so good. It's so good. It's well thought out, and like to be a fly on the wall or just around that production must have been a ton of fun. And there's a lot of comedians in this movie playing real actors, and they do it masterfully. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad the wife enjoyed it. I am looking forward to hear FP's rating on this one and get his thoughts. So we'll squeeze it in, but give me your rating. Like I want to hear your rating. You know the scale. We've done this now several weeks, 0 to 5. So where do you put this one?
3 is would watch again, or 3 is would not watch again?
No, 3. I would say 2.5, 3, 3.5 are all like we'll watch again. It's varying degrees of like telling other people if I haven't seen it, go see it.
I thought it was a very entertaining movie. I like to personally watch. So if I'm going to, this is a different kind of movie than I would normally watch or would want to watch, because I like the less in your face, the less, fire blowing up, guns in your face. I like a little bit more development and kind of a storyline, if you will. So I enjoyed this movie. I definitely would watch it again. And it's just a different kind of movie for me, but I still really enjoyed it. So I don't want the ratings that I gave the previous movies to have any influence on this movie, because what I'm trying to explain is that this is a different category, I guess. I enjoyed it. I would give this movie a very solid 4. 4.0, not 4.5, straight up 4. I would watch it again. It's not my typical line of movies, but I could see myself recommending this movie to, anybody who's looking for, a Friday night movie that'll be fun to watch, a group of people. Yeah, just a good, solid time spender. It's a good movie to watch. Solid 4 in my book.
I agree 100%, and that's my rating as well. This is a 4 in my book. If it's on, I'm going to watch it. If I see it pop up on a streamer, I'll find time. I'll make time to watch it. If I come across somebody who hasn't seen it, just like with UNFP, I recommend it right now. I kind of forced it on you this time, but like if anyone in our circle of friends hasn't seen this movie, they got to find, 2 hours and knock it out. This is a fast 2-hour movie. There are 90-minute flicks that feel longer than this one. This one is constant. There's, and I don't disagree with you with regards to like the subcategorization of movies. I like action films. I prefer dramas a little bit more. Same with my TV shows. I just prefer a little bit more depth in the characters. That being said, given that this movie was made in 1994 and how short it actually is, there isn't a single character of substance that was not well. Like, all sides of Harry Tasker 30 minutes into this movie, and you see it play out the rest of the way. You understand Tom Arnold's character in about the first 20 minutes. Now, there's a lot of unimportant pieces around it, and that's totally fine, but you get the bad guy, you get enough of the bad guy to understand like he's an actual menace. And I appreciate, this is something 90s movies did, I think, better than current movies. They don't reveal, like there isn't like I feel like with modern movies, Andy, you're getting like, there's always like a final boss, right? Like you work your way up the bad guys and then you get to the real bad guy. Here you had one bad guy from start to end, right? And Arnold's chasing him from start to end. There's no intermediary guys. There's no random standoff with like a mid-level bad guy. It's just one-on-one the entire way. I love that. This movie's a solid 4. It is Arnold. Arnold gives you a complete performance in this. The cast is excellent. The pacing of the movie is great. You will not fall asleep. Solid 4 from me. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I did. Thank you, Joe. Good rec.
Thank you. We'll get FP's rating. I did want to spend a moment here on Val Kilmer. He tragically passed away at 65 years old earlier this morning. 65? I think so. Let me verify. I don't want to mess that up. Yeah. Passes away at 65 years old. Do you have a favorite Kilmer movie? He's in a tremendous amount of stuff. I mean, I don't know.
What were his most recent movies? Because I didn't watch the Batman movie.
Top Gun
is most well known.
The original Top Gun, he is pivotal. His role as Iceman, and he reprises that role as Iceman in Top Gun Maverick, where he's still Iceman. He just can't speak, and that's in line with his real life situation. Like he couldn't speak, but he still. He was great. He led in a bunch of movies: 5 Days to War, Twixt. There's A Soldier's Revenge, Pay Dirt, The Super. There was one movie he made, I want to say it was late 90s, where he was the lead, The Saint. I'm trying to pull. The Ghost in the Darkness was mid 90s. The Island of Dr. Moreau, that was mid 90s. Heat, he's in Heat, and he plays a huge role in Heat. That's 95. Batman Forever, 95. Tombstone, 93. He's in that. True Romance, 93.
So I'm not gonna lie to you. I know the name, right? I know Val Kilmer. It's just a name that every household kind of knows, but I don't know many of his movies. I've seen Heat. I love the movie Heat, but if you ask me to remember him in Heat, I can't remember him.
Well, that's interesting. Did you ever watch Entourage? He's actually in Entourage.
Yeah, I love Entourage. Back in the day, I went when DVDs were a thing. I went and bought the collection. I love Entourage.
Yeah, so he's actually in that series. He plays the role of a weed Sherpa or something. It's strange that's what the first, literally when I heard the news this morning, I was like, oh, that sucks. My first thought was none of the movies. It was the Entourage scene because it was so great between him and Johnny Drama, and they're going back and forth about whatever nonsense they were going back and forth.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. I'm looking at it now. Yeah, pictures are bringing it back.
Vince is like dating like this crazy chick who's like making him a vegan or whatever, and there's a weed shortage, and they go to the Val Kilmer playing the Sherpa who has weed. So,
I mean, but you can't even tell it's him. The man's wearing glasses, a beanie.
It was a. I mean, I don't know why. I'm just saying it came out like that's where my head went immediately. He's done a ton of stuff, like all the way. And Birthday Cake was in 21. There's a bunch. I mean, his movie, like, I mean, there's a ton of stuff. I think The Saint 1997 probably for me is the one standalone movie that I would, I don't want to disparage it. I always enjoyed it, but it's a 6.2 from critics and 30% from fans. Like, it is not a highly rated movie whatsoever, but I've always really enjoyed it. Have you seen that movie?
I haven't. No.
So
I'm going for OMC.
I'm going to throw it out there and say, like, in honor of Val, we should try to squeeze in maybe a second one this week. It's your pick officially, but I'd love to watch this one and do a little Val Kilmer,
Sure. We can do a twofer
next week.
I'm down for a twofer.
Yeah, it's not highly rated, but I've always enjoyed it.
It doesn't have to be highly rated. I'll watch anything.
I would say it's a classic that no one's seen.
You want to know my pick?
Yeah, give me your pick. What's your pick for OMC this week? Are you struggling with it, or you got it?
No, I really want us to review this one because I think there's going to be a lot of mixed feelings on it. It's not the typical movie that I would recommend, but I do want to get your thoughts and FP's thoughts on it. And then that movie is Ready Player One.
Ready Player. I have not seen this. I'm looking it up right now. Circa 2018.
It's a newer movie, right? I don't actually think there's a lot of big name actors, or the cast is not that great. But
okay. I mean, Ben Mendelsohn is pretty big. Steven Spielberg is pretty big.
Well, he's a director. I'm saying the actual
Ben Mendelsohn is in this movie. I don't know if it's a big role or not, but okay. All right, I'm in. I have not seen this.
Yeah, I mean, maybe these are new school actors and actresses. Like,
are you buying me the rental, or am I buying it for myself?
I'll send everybody a bootleg link.
Okay. All right, I'm in then. All right, so we got two. Ready Player One, The Saint. 1 and 2. Okay.
Yeah, this is a different kind of movie. Like, it's just.
Hey, I'm here for.
I don't want to set any expectations. Don't even watch the trailer that's playing on IMDb right now.
We're just gonna raw dog this. Just go in. Just show up. Okay.
Yes.
All right. I can do that. I'm glad you enjoyed True Lies, though. I honestly, I would have been upset if you didn't enjoy the time spent with it. Rating aside, like, I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's good.
Yeah, it was definitely a good movie. I would watch again.
We'll get FP's rating. We'll make it aware. We'll make everyone know. Like, we'll make it known to everyone. Our 2 movies for the week. So when we reconvene on Monday next week, we'll have we'll be back to regular schedule hopefully next week. I'm good, Andy. Anything you want to plug?
No, Miss FP. This was a good show. I got nothing else.
Thank you for your time. It was a good show. I appreciate you making time. Thank you for tolerating my my illness this week and my voice this night and all the stuff. FP, wherever you are, we miss you. Hope to see you back here soon. Stevie and Matt have been basically texting the entire time we've been recording, which is really annoying because they could have just joined the show. We pulled them right in.
Haven't even checked my phone.
Do it tomorrow. We could have pulled them right in, but we will get that baseball show taped. Update on 20 also. His mic is back up and running. We did a little sound check late last week, so his setup is back, so I expect him back on the show in the coming weeks as well. So LP is always welcome. Obviously Razzy's always welcome as well. Razzy he's made it abundantly clear to me that he really only cares during football season not about the show, but about sports in general, so that's fine, although he usually picks it up when the NBA postseason begins, so hopefully we'll get him in here too. But For Andy, my name is Joe. The show is DTC and the OMC, the Off-Season Movie Club. Thank you for supporting both. There will be a second feed every week moving forward where OMC is broken out. So if you just want to hear about the movie of the week because you don't care about baseball, that's fine. If you want to support the show and listen to the entire thing, this is another fatty going on 90 minutes. Thank you for hanging out with us. Until next week, we are out.